I see a whole big thing people are talking about. OOIDA, challenges EPA. I mean, pretty much it says what quote unquote unworkable truck emissions rule in federal court. So, I mean, put it in layman's terms, OIDA is going after EPA. You guys suing them or what? What's going on?
Yeah, well, we filed a petition against them along with the American Petroleum Association and the Farm Bureau and the National Corn Growers Association formed to review this Phase 3 rule. This is we're the third group, I guess, to petition them on this. But yeah, I mean, this is again, they're wanting to reduce, I think it's what, like 30 some percent of, or by 2032, 25% of sleeper cabs have to be zero emissions. And I mean, what essentially they're doing is pushing people to electric, we feel and think, like California. And as in California and elsewhere, we continually say this stuff isn't out there. This technology isn't ready for prime time. So, why are we passing rules and regulations on stuff that doesn't really even exist completely yet? And, there's no charging stations for trucks. There's all kinds of things here that nobody wants to talk about, and it's very, very frustrating. So yeah, we filed a petition along with these others for federal court, and hoping that when the court and the judges look at this, that a cooler, more level-headed prevails, and they say, no, EPA, you can't do this, nor do you have the power to do this.
I'll tell you, because I mean, small carriers right now, owner operators, I mean, they're parking their trucks, and some of them getting out of the business. Others are going company driver themselves. And especially with a hit like this, yeah, EPA's new truck emission standards requires 25% of new sleeper cab tractors to be zero tailpipe emissions trucks by 2032. I mean, that'll put out any truck driver with 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks. I mean, these trucks are like, unless the government's really helping you subsidize some of these truck fees. I mean, these trucks are costing what, $300,000-$400,000? For these electric trucks?
We're hearing 400,000 plus is what we're hearing. You're correct. Our industry's hemorrhaging right now of carriers due to the low rates, the broker fraud, carrier fraud, the overregulation, the burdensome regulation, the cost increase of trucks and fuel and parts and labor. It's terrible right now. And I mean, it'll turn, and it always does, but it's hard. But you're going to throw something like this at a small business carrier, they're not going to buy this stuff. They can't afford this stuff. And the operational challenge of this equipment, I've brought this up, I don't know in how many hearings and how many times I've testified and how many meetings with CARB and other people. Small business truckers, a lot of them, they take their trucks home. I took my truck home. My truck was parked beside my shop. And the thing was, I didn't have to worry about it charging all night or putting in some charging station or something like that. I filled it with fuel before I got home, or filled it with fuel after I left somewhere, or one along the way. Now you're talking, and I would go home 1 or 2 nights a week a lot of times. Luckily, I would get through the house. So now you're talking, because that's the thing. They say, well, you can charge these while you sleep. So we're going to have to put parking or, charging stations at our homes and charge from our homes for small business guys. Plus, the biggest thing I continually say, there's one safe spot for every 11 trucks. We know there's this huge, huge, huge parking shortage. One safe spot. To charge trucks, you're going to have to park them. Where are we going to park all these trucks to charge them? If that's the way we go. Where are they all going to park at night? Because we don't have enough places for people to park just to get the rest that they need, required sleep and their break. So where are they going to park to charge all these trucks? Because I think the people who think about this stuff and come up with these wonderful ideas, they are people who have no understanding about the trucking. They think that they see some truck terminal down here, an LTL or an Amazon warehouse or something like that, where all these little trucks roll in and they spend the night there, parked, and then they roll out and do their thing the next day. But over-the-road trucking, as you and I both know, and all your listeners know, it don't work that way. You're not going into terminals and all these kind of stuff. And, then let's get into the weather and all these other things that come into play. I still remember when Katrina happened. I hauled supplies into Katrina right after two or three, I was down there a bunch. But we were limited on the amount of fuel we could buy. I think you were allowed 50 gallons, and that's when you were getting within about 500 miles of the Gulf, and they started limiting how much fuel. And then when you got within a couple hundred miles, you could hardly get fuel or any kind of services when that first happened. What are you going to do with an electric truck when you need to haul supplies into somewhere that's devastated like that was? I mean, that was devastating to that area, and people who never went there have no idea how wide range of devastation and destruction there was. But how is electric trucks going to haul the supplies and the materials and stuff that people need after a natural disaster like that? Where are they going to charge them?
And that's the thing, right? So I mean, from what you're hearing, I mean, who's pushing this electric big time? What companies are doing it? I mean, we don't have to name drop, or is it just an industry as a whole? Do they feel like electric's just the way to go? I mean, mind you, listeners, when you guys listen to this, we're not talking self-driving trucks. I mean, that's a whole different animal. We're just talking electric trucks here. But who's the one pushing this? I mean, I know the government is, but is anyone else? Are there trucking companies that really think that electric are the future as well?
I don't necessarily think trucking companies. I mean, most of the trucking companies stuff I hear, ATA and stuff. I mean, we kind of all agree on this and get along on this and push back. I think this is like most things you see in Washington, follow the money. And I think your biggest, besides the green movement and people of the green movement, also the manufacturers, of course, of electric trucks.
Yes.
So they want to sell their trucks, So I think it's a combination of the green folks and then the people who manufacture these things.
No, I got you. So all the listeners, all the owner operators, all the truck drivers out there, what can we do to help this petition? Or some articles are saying OOIDA is suing EPA, others are saying petition. I mean, what's the right terminology? I want to make sure I get it right.
Petition is the right thing, because we're really not suing them, because we're not going after loss or to gain back losses or wages or something like that. It's a petition, and what the petition is, we're filing a petition for the courts to look at the regulation that the EPA passed. And of course, it hasn't come to fruition yet. People don't have to comply yet, but to look at this before they start having to. And what will happen is either A, they will find in favor of EPA and then nothing will change, or B, as we hope, they will find they will agree with what we're saying and find that this rule is unconstitutional, or EPA doesn't have the ability to do this, whatever the word is, and then of course it'll be overturned and it'll go away. Hey. So that's why I say it's not really suing. It's the petition. It's more of I guess you would say a legal review, for lack of better terms, of the rule, and then with an answer coming down.
Okay, and when does this answer seem to come down? When can we have that, you think?
But I don't have that kind of crystal ball.
I heard you. I know. Government moves slow.
Government moves really, really slow. Courts move really, really slow. So I'd like for it to happen tomorrow, but who knows for 100% when it's going to happen. I mean, on the other front, what truckers can do besides these three petitions, there is a CRA, a Congressional Review Act, that was filed on May the 1st. Senator Ricketts and Sullivan filed it on the Senate side, along with John James from Michigan on the House side. And you could, reach out to your lawmakers and tell them what's going on. I mean, of course, we say this all the time. Reach out to your lawmakers. But, you can reach out about the CRA, explain about what's going on. If you need more information or you don't feel comfortable that you have enough yet, you can always call in here to OOIDA, talk to myself, talk to my compliance department or our government affairs guys, or you can go to our Fighting for Truckers website and get information on there. The CRA has not been voted on or anything, and that's a Congressional Review Act. I should have said that's what a CRA is. So they brought this out for Congress to review to see if EPA has this rule. So I guess, there's not much that members can do as far as the petition, because that's filed now. It's up to the court. but you can still call your congressmen and your lawmakers and let them know how this is going to affect your business and hurt your business in all reality.
No, I hear that. So, hey, all the watchers, all the listeners, all the mother truckers out there, you know, this new rule, we've heard about it, and it's a new rule coming out, right? EPA requiring 25% of new sleeper cab tractors to be zero tailpipe emissions, right, by 2032. Now, in this rule, Louis, would you know it says new sleeper cabs? How about if you got an old one? Are you safe?
Well, I mean, you'll have to follow in the other CARB acts, but yeah, I mean, the way I understand it's manufactured and new. Now, CARB's got some stuff out there on fleets and how much percentage, and I don't know what there's off the top of my head.
Mhm.
There are some language in CARB's laws about what your fleet, like the percentage of trucks that you have in your fleet. So that would, of course, be retroactive to a point. But no, I mean, your new trucks, it's just going to be trucks manufactured.
I've heard that. No, yeah, just want to give all the information out there. No, I appreciate you always for being on the show. Is there anything else that you'd let people know or would like people to know that are listening and watching the show?
Again, I can't say it enough. Call your lawmakers. We at OOIDA, we've been around for 50 years, 51 years now, actually advocating for truckers. And the rights of truckers. And the reason we've had so many wins and so much success, whether it's getting something passed or getting something stopped, really comes down to our grassroots efforts and our members, because we don't have the money and the stuff and the resources that some of our foes have on whatever side they're on. But we do have the grassroots, we do have the members, we do have the people with real stories and real world stories that either happen to them for the good or to the bad. And you need to share those with your lawmakers and stay connected to your lawmaker, because that's how we stop things and keep things like this from happening, and hopefully not even getting to this point to where we have to file a petition. So anyway, that's my biggest thing. And then, of course, all you truckers out there, thank you so much for what you do. We at OOIDA appreciate everything you truckers do. And I know it's a hard job, and it's a lot of the times it's a very thankless job. But
yeah.
As far as folks here at OOIDA and my good friend, the Mutha Trucker, we love y'all.